Hi there everyone, it is currently the 26th of September 2011 in the evening in the Philippines right now, about 1840 Philippine Standard Time or about 0940 Universal Time. For those of you watching this update worldwide, we are continuing to watch Typhoon Nesat here, actually Typhoon Nesat or Pedring being called locally by Pagasa. Its current winds out of this are about 70, gusting up to 100 knots or 965 HPA and still deepening. GTWC, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center out of Pearl Harbor, already holds this at 80, gusting to 90 knots as well. So about the equivalent of a Category 1, maybe a weak Category 2 hurricane if you were looking at these back in the States, but still a typhoon. Does not look like it's going to get to that quite to that super typhoon intensity yet. Looking at a landfall just right near Casiguran, actually looks like this is going to make landfall directly at Casiguran due to this area of high pressure up towards the north weakening enough and allowing the system to be a straight runner towards that area. And what that means is that Casiguran is going to be seeing those high typhoon strength winds. Now this is a map put together by weathercaster Pat here at westernpacificweather.com showing the storm surge potential up and down the coast, but mainly it's going to be the right front quadrant, and that's all these areas north of Casiguran all the way up towards Apari that's going to be seeing the higher storm surge as this comes ashore. But those typhoon strength winds are going to continue extend all the way across the Luzon here, but the main factor here and the main risk is I want to point out is this 200 millimeters of rainfall or less going to be expected in this green box, but in this inner box here, that's where you're likely going to be seeing above 200 millimeters of rainfall and even upwards about 500 millimeters of rainfall in certain locations in the Sierra Madre Mountains. And that is mainly due to these bandings as they come on shore. They're going to be squeezed out like a sponge over the mountains, and really a lot of that rainfall is going to hit up along the east coast here, but also run down to those watershed regions along much of the area here in northern Luzon, and even down here towards the south. You're going to be seeing localized flooding in these watersheds in the valleys, but also in the urban areas including Manila. You're going to be seeing a lot of urban flooding due to the poor drainage out there. So this is a water vapor shot just showing a lot of these bandings already moving across Luzon today. Actually reports of over 100 to 150 millimeters up and down the coast here. Actually Manila Metropolitan Airport was seeing upwards of 20 millimeters an hour earlier today as well. So already seeing heavy precipitation across the region, but the system continues to develop and strengthen. And here just showing an eye wall actually starting to build and develop in here over the past 24 hours on this microwave imagery. If you are having a hard time seeing it on the infrared imagery earlier, this likely is going to make it much more coherent and clear to see. You just see that banding wrapping around here, and this just keeps looping back, by the way. But overall though, a lot of that convection coming in from the south and wrapping around the northern periphery here, and that is what's going to develop this eye wall and make it those high winds upwards of possibly 100 knots at landfall. This is just actually a still image of the image I was just showing you here. It really does show that banding wrapping around, but also still seeing a lot of convection over land here, and that's what's indicated here in the red with this microwave imagery showing a lot of heavy precipitation and rain showers, but also thunderstorm activities, and with that the threat of tornadic activity. So I would like to note that all of Luzon here could see the threat of tornadoes as the system approaches. So therefore, all these factors combined, Signal Force 3 has already been issued for much of the east coast, including Aurora and Isabela, where the system looks like it's going to be making close landfall towards. But also noting what I kind of highlighted here in red is Metro Manila under Signal Force 2 for 60 to 100 kilometer per hour winds, and that is also including heavy flooding and a lot of that urbanized flooding as noted earlier, but also the threat of severe thunderstorms. I also do want to mention that all schools in Manila were closed starting today and into tomorrow, so definitely make sure you stay indoors tomorrow, and it looks like they're already starting to prepare for that. But flights as across the region in and out have all been canceled or delayed, so if you plan on flying in and out of Luzon in the next 48 hours, it looks like you're going to be having some hard times if you're trying to get on some of those major carriers, especially around eastern Luzon as this storm tracks over land. But really looks like a pretty definite model consensus right now on that Casiguran landfall. But after it crosses over Luzon here, it is going to weaken slightly, then reemerge still as a typhoon, and it regains some strength here as it remains and starts to head off northwest. I know a lot of people are worried about this hitting Hong Kong. Well, it looks like it's likely to go southwest of Hong Kong, out towards Hainan here, and possibly towards southeastern China, the peninsula out here as well. So really still long range, and definitely it all depends on how the friction is going to act with the system over Luzon and how much it weakens and how it will redevelop as it moves out to sea here in the South China Sea. But given the overall surface synoptic pattern with this high pressure up towards the north, that due west straight running type scenario seems very logical, because the system is not going to run up north towards these area of high pressures. It's going to want to follow our tropical storm out here, tropical storm Haitong, as that moves on shore towards Vietnam. It's really going to want to run towards the lower pressure of that tropical system and kind of continue to track it off towards Hainan here. So I would not be surprised if we see another landfall rate in that region as the system comes out in the next several days. But for now, we continue to watch the system and continue to check for updates from JMA, Pagasa, and JTWC here. All three of these agencies are warning on this system. Good news is that they are all in line with that landfall right near Aurora, Isabella region. Pagasa here in the top left, JMA in the top right, and the Joint Typhoon Warning Center in the bottom here. Also, all of them continue to track this off in mainly a west-northwest direction off towards Hainan in the long run. So looks like this is likely going to be a scenario given all of the implications I had noted earlier, but also it's not too often when you see the agencies really in good agreement here. So that's kind of a good news as far as the forecast, bad news as far as this system making landfall as a pretty strong typhoon, as all the forecasts implicate that this will likely strengthen and continue to strengthen just to landfall, where it'll start the weekend due to that land interaction. But that is all for right now, everyone. If you want to continue to check back here on westernpacificweather.com, Weathercaster Pat is also posting updates, so we're going to continue to feed you information overnight tonight and into tomorrow as this system moves across the Philippines. But if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions as well, please post them here in the comment box below if you're watching this on YouTube, and also westernpacificweather.com. You can post your comments there as well. But thanks again for listening, everybody. Please stay safe, and please be advised if you are being issued to evacuate, as a lot of the peoples in Albay are already being issued to evacuate, about 100,000 people there. Please do so. Definitely do not want to take the chances with these systems, and if you have the means to get out of the way, definitely do so. Always safe than sorry. So thanks again, everybody. Stay safe out there, and have a good night.